Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
I failed to make it as a hall monitor at school, and since then I've had a huge boner for authority. How can I get job satisfaction and the respect I crave?
By shooting people for the state. Become one of Liberty City's finest, and you'll be a hero today. Become the law. Carry a big black stick for enforcing it. Drive around aimlessly for hours eating junk food and get paid for it. If you get hurt on duty, you'll get such a pretty medal, the disability will be worth it.
I'm a hero, and women pay attention to me now that I threaten them with tickets.
That's right. Women love a man in uniform, especially if you're threatening them with a ticket or incarceration. Think about it. You'll have a name badge. It's like fast food, but you get to beat people.
Kick ass! I can beat people senseless.
Fight crime the American way, with a hail of bullets and psychotic violence at the drop of a hat. Become one of Liberty City's finest. Enroll today.
Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift, episode 410. Oh, and I am, of course, I'm too close to the microphone, but I, of course, am your host, your funky leader, the greatest man who's ever lived. It's me, it's Matt, and ooh, baby, I'm pumped for the show. There's a very particular reason that I'm pumped for the show, but we'll find that out later. And with me, as always, it's the Lightbearer, Lightbearer, bring the Beastmaster, Third Shift. It's Eric, and he's here to tell us how his week was. Hey, Eric, it was a slightly longer week because we had an extra day, which is what I'm going to get into when I talk about stuff. But what'd you do this week? How was your week? What's going on?
Well, we did have an extra day, and you know why? It's because I was going camping, got out of work Thursday, and we drove to Grand Haven, Michigan, to the bestest, most awesomest weather in all of creation. It was a cool 70 degrees, breezy outside. I finally got to do what I love to do the most, set up my gaming rig outside, kick back, play games, listen and watch the squirrels and the birds fly around. And then the kids playing, and campers walking, and dogs yapping, and the smells of campfire and barbecue, etc., etc. It was marvelous. Had a great time. And while I was doing that, I also got to play a whole bunch of Persona 3, and it was great. It's finally ramping up, as we talked about before. For me, it was kind of like just chilling. I didn't really know what we were doing, but it's getting there. We're getting new characters. We're getting things, and now we finally met the actual baddies. So it's like, oh, wow, hey, something's getting serious here. Stuff is starting to go down. So that was really fun, really cool. Looking forward to playing that some more. But, of course, I play it with my older daughter. So I have to figure out some time to drag her butt down here so we can play, because I don't want to wait till August 18th for my next camping trip. It's far too long, far too long. But beyond that, the only other thing I did this week in the gaming world was I played some Zenless Zone Zero. And I told Matt this morning, and I'll kind of tell you, the game's fun. We've already talked about it. Great characters, a lot of really cool music. The only downside to it is the dailies. If you do and the dailies are fun, don't get me wrong. But by the time you do your dailies, you waste your batteries, you do all your little side stuff. It's 45 minutes, an hour. Usually after that, I start to get nervous about starting anything else up, because then we're getting in the range where I want to watch a show and go to bed. So I keep on doing my dailies, and then I hover over the next story, and I go, ooh, not today. I'll put it off. So I've gone a whole week of just doing dailies and not progressing the story. And I'm starting to think in my head, I'm like, can I do this? Do I even have time to do this? Shouldn't I be probably just playing games that are manageable and end, so that way I can try to catch up with all the backlog that I have? But I don't want to just stop playing this game because it's fun. And I like the characters. And like I said, the story is cool and it's neat. And I'm having a good time with it. So it's a game that's fun and I like it. But I just don't know if I have time to do this thing or not. So I'm kind of trying to figure that out. Whether I want to keep sticking with it. Where I want to drop off. I don't know yet. I don't know. I'll think about it. But beyond that, that's it, Matt. That's all I've done in this wonderful week. Besides be excited to see Deadpool and Wolverine this weekend. That's all.
I can't believe you've only done that many things, Eric, because I have done so many things. I've done a million things. No, I literally only wrote 2 things on the show notes, because that's all I have to talk about. And I talked about us having an early show last week, so I didn't have a chance to talk about it last week. But AEW had their 250th episode of Dynamite. Will Ospreay versus MJF. They went 59 minutes and 58 seconds. through a bunch of commercial breaks, and it was amazing. It was great the whole way through. I mean, there were like dips in the action, but they were never like, oh, okay. Like you remember from bad wrestling matches from like the 90s where I'll just lay on the mat and headlock for a few minutes. Okay. Oh, now it's time to fire up. Okay. It was just constant going, brawling in the crowd involvement, in and out, technical wrestling, fast, high flying stuff. It was incredible. Both guys were like drenched in sweat, working hard. Everybody's working hard. And I was like, God, those are the times when I tweet out and you see it. I fucking love professional wrestling. It was amazing. Great. That was last week's episode. This week's episode was their annual Blood and Guts episode, where they do the War Games match, big cage around 2 rings, violence, blood, all kinds of craziness, like the complete opposite end of the spectrum. You have like the perfect professional wrestling, and then you have violence and insanity and stunts and brutality. Oh, it was wonderful. It was the 2 greatest weeks of my life for 2 hours watching a wrestling program. Amazing. Great. Wonderful. And then on the video game front, I played a big old stream, big old chunk, big old fat 8.5-hour stream of Persona 3 Reload over the weekend, and I beat it, and it was incredible. It was amazing. I won't talk about the ending in very specifics, obviously, because Eric's still playing it, but it did all my favorite things. It did all the things that I love the most. People coming together to do a thing. That's all I'll say, and you'll know it when you get it. And, oh, God, there was, doing it on stream, there was a moment, and it got to me. Like, it got me. And I went, oh. I knew something was going to happen, and it did, and it worked. Like, boom, right in the feels. And I went, oh, man. And then the ending, and the epilogue, and everything. God, that game is so great. I love it so much. It made me so happy. And then what happens anytime I beat a Persona game? And it's, well, maybe not so much with 4 Golden because I stopped right before the last dungeon. So when I beat it, it was just last dungeon wrap up. Hey, you did it. But when I beat Persona 5, when I beat Persona 5 Royal, when I beat Persona 3 Reload here, I just went into like the biggest funk. I'm like, oh man, I just had the greatest, like most emotional cat. And all my friends, okay, it's done. It's over. All right. What do you want to play now? I don't know. You want to start this other game? You want to get back into this? No, man, not right now. So I went and I read a book. I've been reading a lot of books lately, these past few weeks, so I didn't just sit here and do nothing. But I went, okay, disengage a bit, go read my book. Came back, started New Game Plus because I need to do another run just to get the last, 3. I think there's only 3 trophies left for me. So someday I'll probably finish that, but I started doing that, and I was like, okay. The one thing I did notice, though, and I kind of fell off after that. That's the end of the story there. Is I started it, and I went, okay, maybe I'll play this here and there in bits and bops, and here we go. But what I realized, too, and I think I noticed it when I first played it, there are so many social link people in those first few days. And some of you know, because you see, and it's like, oh, there's a guy. But there's so many that I'd forgotten that they were, right there. Whereas in the game, it's 7 months of game time. So possibly even 7 months of real-world time until you see him again. I'd completely forgotten that person's over there, and this person you see the very first day, and that guy's over there. So cool. So awesome. So much fun. That game is amazing. It's. I said it before. Eric still might disagree with me and think I'm crazy. It might be my new favorite just because of the vibe. The music, it's my music. Persona 5 Royal's music is great, and the story is amazing too, but when everywhere I go, I'm just, it's good. I don't know. It might be number 1. But that's all I've done. And I beat it on Saturday, and I played a little bit more on Saturday. I haven't touched a video game since then. I've been reading books, I've been watching shows, I've just been vibing, just been existing. But it's about to change literally tonight after I edit this and put the podcast up. And I'll talk about, I can say one thing. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. The next season of that is out today with the brand new character, Mrs. Freeze. And if you haven't seen the movement tech on Mrs. Freeze, do yourself a favor and just watch a GIF of it. And if it doesn't get you excited, oh man, I don't even know what's wrong with you. So there's that, and there's something else that I'm going to talk about later. But Eric's going to talk about something else right now. Go, do it. You can do it. Yeah, tell us.
Oh, I can do it? It's my turn. Oh, well, Matt's got an exciting one for you. But you know what? So do I. Another interesting title that I should check out. Just like another interesting title called Signalis. Well, this one is Conscript. It is developed by Jordan Mochi in the Catchweight Studio. It's published by Team 17. Came out July 23rd, 2024, officially on all the stuff. You can go play it PS5, Xbox, PC, Switch, wherever you want to play it, it's available. Now, I didn't know anything about this game, but then when I looked at it, I realized I did know. And that I'd seen it before at something. I don't know what it was, but I've seen it. And I went, oh, this game. I remember. It's a World War I game, but it's done in a survival horror fashion. You're going to play a French soldier, and it's got the overhead view, and you're in the trenches in World War I, handling business. And you're out to look for your lost loved one. The whole opening is you talking and explaining what you're doing to your family, and that you miss them, and what you're doing in the war, etc. And off you go. And it has all your typical survival horror tropes. You have the inventory, and you're going around and you're collecting physical melee weapons, you're collecting ranged weapons, you're scrounging for bullets to take out these German soldiers. But it's not done as an action title or anything like that. It's got some real melancholy, moody music going on. It's real dark and just ominous. You can hear like the screams of soldiers in the distance dying. The mortars dropping. You'll see off in the sidelines where you're not in the trenches, just like enemy soldiers just running off to go wage battle in an unknown location while you're sneaking around. Yes, because this game does have stealth. You can sneak around and come up behind the German soldiers, take them out that way, or even hide from them, wait till they go by. Once again, if they do see you, then they're chasing you, and it's basically almost impossible to get rid of them without fighting them and killing them. So you have to be very careful while you're going through, all the different trenches and the buildings that you're going to encounter, because there are heavily armored ones who are really difficult to take out. So if they get a hold of you, you're going to get screwed over. And yes, you are very weak. You cannot take a whole bunch of hits. You are faster than the enemies, though, so you got an advantage and a leg up in that way. But it's just really cool because, like I said, with the top down, all the pixels are there. And mind you, this is like it's like an homage to older games. So it's like let's say 32-bit type graphics going on, and it just looks gorgeous for what it is. And like I said, when you go into the different areas, you're finding clues and you're solving puzzles just like you would in an old school Resident Evil game. So I'm like, oh, here's a crank wheel. Well, what do you do with the crank wheel? Who knows? Next thing you know, you find an old locked door and you can put the crank wheel on it, get in. You're going to find a letter from a dead German soldier who says, I was in charge of this room here, and I named the code after my favorite sister. And then you'll see a picture next to it, and it'll be a sister, and the sister's got a code on the back with his birthday or something. All those typical old school puzzles, this game has them. And the vibe is just all there. I really liked what I saw. If you like sneaking around, scarcely using bullets, making sure you're careful, taking out enemies, using melee weapons, this is something I don't like, but as long as they're generous in the game with it, I don't mind. The weapons do degrade, so while you're beating someone with a shovel, it'll eventually break. So you have to make sure you're sneaking around and getting more and more weapons to keep yourself alive and rocking and rolling. It's a great title. Looks like a lot of fun. I highly recommend, if you like survival horror games or just old, nostalgic 32-bit type games, to check this one out.
Why do I know this game? I've seen this game before in something. And I was just browsing the Google image results right now to see if this is the game that I remember. And it is. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I was watching some other content creators like Games from My Mailbag. I got an advanced demo of this or an early access of this, but I have definitely seen this before and was excited about it when I saw it before. So this looks, it's out. It's physically like a real thing now.
It's out now. And that's what, like I said, I didn't even know what this is. I literally went, Conscript, what the hell's that? So I clicked it and I went, I know this game. I've seen this game played.
Yeah.
What's happening? And then I even saw like some things were saying this game came out in like 2020. And I'm like, it didn't come out in 2020 because I literally looked at a bunch of other stuff and it just came out July 23rd, 2024. So I don't know if there was some like early beta way back in the day for it, and then it just disappeared for the last 4 years, and now it's finally out. But it is very strange because I had no recollection. Then all of a sudden I did, and now I'm talking about it. And I want to play it, but I haven't even got to Signalis yet, which I also told you about is a really good game that's got the heart and soul of this type of game as well. There is a very famous individual who made this game, but I don't remember the name. Sorry. Look it up. It's a really cool looking game for sure.
And speaking of really cool looking games, it's time. It's time, everybody. Get a little glass of water, get a little hot tea, warm your throat up, and sing it with me. To save our Mother Earth from any alien attack.
From vicious giant insects who have once again come back. We'll unleash all our forces, we won't cut them any slack. VEDFD boys!
That's right. Earth Defense Force 6. It's here. It's finally here. I knew it was launching in July, but it has felt like still forever away for the longest time, and it's here, and it's actively downloading to my console right now, as we speak. If you want to know the story of Earth Defense Force 6, it picks up years after Earth Defense Force 5, when you fought off all the aliens, and the Earth Defense Force has been going around cleaning up all the aliens that are left on the planet. But guess what? Surprise! The aliens return somehow, bringing with them giant monsters, giant insects, giant robots, freaking bees and ants and spiders and robots and like Godzilla looking things and these fish looking dudes that do like a flop and like swim around on the ground towards you, and like giant robots and UFOs and crazy things. And this is that game where you play as 4 different classes. If you don't know EDF, I mean, you should know EDF. Everybody should know EDF. It's a silly, budget-ish kind of a title where you just run around and shoot stuff and you blow up like the whole city, because it's one of those games where the background is all destructible, and if you're shooting rockets everywhere, you're just going to be blowing stuff up. And it's just stupid fun. I would say guilty pleasure, but I don't feel guilty for getting pleasure out of playing EDF games. So you play as 4 different classes. You got the Ranger, which is your run around shooting guy. But in this one, now you got turrets you can put out. My favorite thing in my favorite class, the Ranger, has now been taken from a different class who's got different stuff. But now you're throwing out turrets, and you're shooting, and you're running around, you're jumping. Great. Love that class. Then you got the Fencer. Big, huge dude. You got dashes. You got like big, heavy weapons. Not my cup of tea, but they have upgraded them, and then you get more dash charges. So if you like doing that stuff, you got more energy to do that with. Next up, you got the Wing Diver, my second favorite class. All-female class, flying around. And you got mostly all-energy weapons. Ridiculous. You can't take as many hits as the other classes, but you're flying. You're flying up top of the skyscrapers. You're landing on them. All the skyscraper all the ants are crawling up the skyscraper. You swip over to the other one. You pew, 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 pew. It's great. But then you get caught in the spider webs. Oh, man. Wing Divers are so much fun. And then you got the Air Raider, which is the one that had turrets before and is a mostly support class. You got vehicles you can drop in. You got all that kind of stuff. But now it's been retooled, so you got a lot more drones. So you are more offensive based because you can call in big swarms of drones. They hang around you. You fire them off. It's Earth Defense Force, baby. It's amazing. I was watching some reviews, to get the gist. People are saying, man, it's Earth Defense Force, and that's great. But man, I don't know. It kind of seems like the same. That's the whole point. If you love Earth Defense Force, this is more Earth Defense Force for you. You got some spins on the 4 classes. You got some upgrades. You got some new things to do. But if you love Earth Defense Force, this is more Earth Defense Force. If you hate Earth Defense Force, A, we can't be friends. Get out of my house. But B, you're probably not going to like this because it's more Earth Defense Force. Tons of levels, tons of enemies, just mowing down waves upon waves of bugs and creatures. Like I said, watching the reviews, I got into one that I think was from the PlayStation 5 version. And I was watching on my phone, and I went, man, those graphics look awesome. They look so good. I mean, for an Earth Defense Force game. This isn't God of War, but for an Earth Defense Force game, I thought it looked amazing. Got into the next review. It was all grainy. It's not that bright. I went, oh man, now I see why this guy doesn't like the graphics. But I thought to myself, how's that possible? Well, maybe one person's playing on PC, one person's playing on console. But then I also thought, it's out for PlayStation. Oh, I didn't even say the stuff that it usually comes out on. It's out for PC and PlayStation. But that also includes PlayStation 4. So maybe he was playing on the 4, and I went, oh, that's not what I'm used to anymore. I'm used to the 5. But if you're on a good PC, if you're on a good PlayStation 5, I think the game looks great. The game always sounds great, too. Hang on, I got to take a sip. I'm getting all dried out.
He's taking a sip. Man, I'm telling you what, off topic just a minute, but you gave me PTSD. These suckers over here, don't let them tell you no. Enjoy your EDF and let them be making more EDF-type titles. I just heard it on a podcast yesterday. Oh, we really got to get rid of those turn-based RPGs. I really fallen in love with RPGs, but them turn-based ones are just really got to go. We got to make them all action battle.
No.
And I went, just shut up. Just get out of here. Just go enjoy the action battle ones and stop trying to get rid of my fun. Shut up.
Yeah, you have enough fun. We have enough fun. We can both be RPG friends, and we can be like, yeah, RPGs.
Yeah.
Don't yuck somebody's yum. That's cruel. That's not cool.
That's right.
And don't yuck my yum, because I love the audio of EDF. The music, I don't remember it very much, other than the EDF themes and chants that the soldiers do chant, that you can initiate chants by, going on your radio wheel. If you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. But the sound in EDF games, obviously there's big explosions. There's a of the acid that the ants throw at you. There's bugs exploding everywhere. It sounds fun. It sounds cool. But what sets EDF apart is the voice acting, because it's just like a B movie. It's not like Ace. You're not going to get Ben Starr or whoever, doing, oh my God, dramatic voice acting. But that's the point. It's a silly game where you're blowing up tons of bugs. The voice acting, it's not terrible. Like, it's not like bad voice acting. Like, you know what bad voice acting is. But it's that, oh no, they're coming to get us. Wow. It's over the top. It's perfect for what EDF is. So it looks great. It sounds great. It plays great. What more do you want? It's EDF. You can go through probably hundreds of levels, leveling up your armor for your character, getting all kinds of weapons. You can get like machine guns, shotguns, rocket launchers, giant missile launchers. You can get like multi-missile launchers. You can get laser weapons, sniper rifles, all kinds of things. You can only carry 2 weapons at a time, but now in this one you do have a backpack slot, so you have more equipment options. And just half the fun of playing EDF is running around picking up every single pickup, armor, health, weapons, and then after it, seeing what new weapons you got. Oh man, I always look out for the turtle, because that's this giant missile that shoots out, and it's a homing missile, but it goes so slow. But if you're in one of those stages where you're fighting like a big Godzilla creature, you lock on at the beginning of the stage, shoot one off, and it goes slow over there, and then it just blows up like city blocks, like giant mushroom cloud. It's ridiculous. Or like I said, you get those fast like Gundam missile launches, like rocket launches, just boom, 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 boom. Or you just go with a standard like AR-15 and just mowing down ants and spiders and these little like bobblehead androids that they got now. God, EDF is so much fun. It's a simple game, but there's something relaxing and fun to me about going into a stage. It's just waves and waves of enemies. Just shoot them. Just shoot them, and then when you kill them, they ragdoll out, and they're just like flying around, big piles of bugs. The whole city's destroyed, but that's fine. You're blowing away cars. They're like flipping out ragdoll style. It's great. Earth Defense Force 6. If you haven't played an Earth Defense Force game, get on it. Get on it and play it. Ooh, it's time.
Goodness gracious, you got a couple good games to pick from, and that's not all, folks. There's free games this week. I'm going to start with Amazon free games, because one of the sites I went to didn't say nothing. There was nothing. Then Matt goes ahead and goes, hey, wait a minute. There's games we didn't talk about from last week, apparently, which is Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, YouTuber's Life 2, and Maneater. Maneater, if you don't know, is that shark game that came out a few years ago. Really popped off. A lot of people loved it. You play as a shark, and you're eating people. You're getting revenge for them taking out your friends and family. All that good stuff. YouTuber's Life 2, man, did you think you were a YouTuber? Well, you're not until you play YouTuber's Life 2 and really get to see how YouTubers live their YouTubing life. It's a great game. Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. I don't have to tell you what Baldur's Gate is. Everybody knows what Baldur's Gate is. But that wasn't all, Matt, because after you put those in, I went, really? How did this all get missed? What happened? What the hell? Well, another site goes, hey, guess what? July 25th, there's more releases for Amazon Prime free games. Well, Amazon 25th, that's right now. So you can also go get Cat Quest 2, Matt. I know you want to play Cat Quest 2. You can also go get Midnight Fight Express. Don't know what that is. I can tell you, it says engage in a brutal and hyperkinetic brawling ballet, something or rather, blah, 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 blah.
I was going to say, I think that's like a side-scrolling beat-em-up type of game, because I've seen it on other places. Hey, it's free, though, so it's going to be in my library. And you mentioned Cat Quest 2. We talked about Cat Quest 3. I think 2 has been free on Epic, maybe. So if you didn't get it then, you got to get it now.
Yeah, it's been free before. And then last but not least, Master Plan Tycoon. Put your creativity and logistics skills to the test in a resource management game. If you love that stuff, it's right there. Amazon Prime has your back with all sorts of free games right now.
And I think the weird thing about the Amazon Games suite is that some people talk about the Amazon Games app games, and then there's also Games with Prime, which is technically Amazon Games, but like people miss one or the other, and I think that's why we missed one or the other, or I missed one and you missed one. It's weird.
It is weird. Yeah, it's getting crazy just trying to keep track of what Amazon's up to. Wish it was a little simpler, kind of like Epic.
Man, you just threw it right to me, and I'm going to knock it right out of the park, because Epic has one free game and then some free stuff. First off, it's Fist, Fortune Shadow Torch, FIST, and I believe this is a combat-based Metroidvania type of game. This was on Game Pass and just went away, and I meant to download it, or at least play it and touch it before that happened, and I got sad. Now I don't have to worry about it because I own it forever. And then also, you get some free outfits in Olympics Go. If you didn't get to go to the Olympics, you can Olympics Go to Epic and get some free outfits. You can do it. You can do it.
It's the perfect time. Olympics start up tomorrow, I think it is. So what better time to play Olympics Go with these brand new outfits than right now?
That's the other thing I forgot to mention because I haven't watched it yet and I got to get caught up. It's G1 season. If you love pro wrestling, it's G1. You got to sign up for New Japan World and get that. So Olympics, G1. I'm not going to have time for video games because I'm going to be watching content with my eyeballs and consuming it, not with my hands. But that's a bad time for that to happen because if you have Game Pass, this is the time. This is the time the Big Daddy just dropped. What is it? The new Big Daddy? I don't know what the releases are. I have no idea. But Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is available right now on Game Pass. I'm not a Call of Duty guy. Like we said before, I play enough to get sort of decent at multiplayer and then I fall off. But it's available on Game Pass. So after this is done and I edit it and I post it, in addition to downloading EDF, which is downloading right now, I'm going to go download Call of Duty and play it because it's available. This was the whole point of the 3.5, 5, 6, 7, 15-year struggle between Activision and Microsoft, the merger we had to talk about way too many goddamn times. Here it is, though. Here's the end result of that. So if you have Game Pass, just get it and play it. Be part of one of the big yearly releases. Even if it's not for you. It's not really for me, but I'm going to play it because it's free. I'm going to play it some.
And then last but not least, this has nothing to do with free games. Well, it sort of does. Borderlands 3, you said, got some cosmetics? What's going on with this stuff, Matt? I didn't hear nothing about Borderlands 3 getting cosmetics. Was it a tie-in with the movies coming out? Is that what's going on?
I mean, it is and it isn't. And of course you did hear about it because you are in our Discord where I posted it in the Borderlands News channel, baby. Which is weird because I didn't hear this anywhere else, but I did see it on Reddit. And I went, what the hell, Reddit? What are you talking about?
Clickety-clack. And well, while you're doing that, let me just also say today, Borderlands News-wise, got a brand new movie trailer, the last and final Borderlands movie trailer coming out, August 8th or 9th? What are those 2 dates?
9th.
Yeah, so we got to make that a thing, Matt. Matt and Eric get to go to a show together for the first time in probably 9-10 years. Whew.
That's actually true. I mean, I'm down for it. I'm down for going for it.
Yeah, we got to do it, man. We got to. It's old time's sakes. That's just what we got to do.
But one thing I won't do is watch the next trailer because I'm sure this is the part where they show them actually killing the end boss and going, "Yay, we did it!" Because that's what movie trailers do. They show way too much. Like every movie trailer I've seen lately. Okay, stop going on a rant. Start talking about those cool new cosmetics because you got 4 new Vault Hunter heads, and these are inspired by all kinds of different characters from all the Borderlands games. You got Moxie head, you got an Athena head, you got a Grandma Flexington head, you got Nisha head. You got 4 new Vault Hunter skins, Moxie, Athena, Grandma Flexington, and Nisha also. You got 4 new weapon trinkets. 2 of them are from the game that we never talk about, but we also have 1 from Salvador and 1 from Bloodwing. You got a new weapon skin inspired by Moxie. You got 2 new Echo skins inspired by Moxie and Firehawk Lilith. So if you are still rocking and rolling in the Borderlands 3 and having a great time doing that, just continue to do that, but with more free stuff. New things have dropped. It's weird because it's not directly tied into the movie, but obviously everybody's hyped for the movie if you're into the Borderlands, so it's free stuff around the movie time. Kind of cool.
It works. And you said Nisha and Athena. Mm-hmm. Both of these words make me very happy. Mm-hmm. So that's a plus for me. Makes me want to actually go throw it back on and just diddly-dal a little bit in there just to wear those and shoot some goons, you know what I mean?
And side tangent. I'm on the Reddit, like I said, and I occasionally get suggested posts from the Borderlands subreddit. And one was, why do we hate the pre-sequel so much? And I went, here's an interesting one. Let me click in. People were saying, yeah, I never hated it. I loved it. I didn't hate it at all. I loved it. And I had to type in, yeah, I loved it too. My buddy and I always talk about going back and finishing off our Athena and our Wilhelm playthrough. And look, there's Athena stuff, which makes me think of pre-sequel. There's Nisha stuff, which makes me think of pre-sequel, which makes me think of being Wilhelm because we're only halfway through that playthrough and we're going to say it all the time and never ever do it, but I'm going to say it again. Hey, we got to go back in there and do that, dude.
We really got to. I was just getting good with Athena too, throwing that shield out, smacking folks. Oh man, it was getting real good.
I know I had gotten, I think it was the Saint, like heel spot on the ground. I know I had gotten that, and I think Wolf was finally getting up to actually having some cool abilities. His other drone, his attack drone. Man, just sounds good. Sounds good right now.
It sure does. It always sounds good. There's a lot of things that sound pretty good to me, though.
You know what never sounds bad, which only sounds good? It's a very specific noise. It's a 2-tone noise, and the first tone is bing, and the second tone is bong. Because it goes bing bong. Oh.
Bing bong.
Because it's mailbag time. We got a mailbag question from a buddy Knowable in the Discord, in the mailbag questions subcord, however you call it, a channel, I don't know what it is. But he writes, since there's a mention of Frogger, which is a segment we'll get to in a second here, what dead franchise, he puts in parentheses, multi-game series, would you love to see come back? I'd love to see a Game Boy-style Frogger come back, and I also still hold out hope for another Hydro Thunder or another Mirror's Edge. Mm-hmm. What do you got on this one, Eric?
Oh, I got one that's going to piss you off right away. It's Breath of Fire series. What the hell did you think I was going to say? Huh?
Go fuck yourself.
What did you, honest to
yourself,
God,
Eric?
You put this question out, and you, honest to God, think I'm not going to say the one title I've been wishing into existence for years and years to your just annoyance and nonstop aggravation? Yes, of course, that series. That's one of them. But I got more, so I'm not being a stingy old bastard. There's more, but that's the number one. Duh, obviously that's number one. So do you want me to give you a second, or do you want to give one first?
Let me jump in here, you dirty bitch, because that's terrible choice.
It's not terrible. It's been
You're
gone
an
and dead
person.
for many years, and it's freaking amazing. It's an amazing RPG series with rich lore and dragons. What do you not love about it?
Barf.
God.
No,
Okay.
it's a bit for the show, and he knows that. I played Breath of Fire. He played Breath of Fire. It's a great series, but I'm sick of hearing about it no more. So we had talked about on the Shifter Monthly Topic, we had talked about Pac-Man in one of the showdowns that we talked about. And this question got me thinking, you know, have never been like a big Pac-Man guy, but a series that I always loved, and it was on the 360, I think, was Pac-Man Championship Edition. There were two of them. There was one, and there was like DX, which was the sequel. And it made single-player Pac-Man, I mean, it's always been single-player, but you get what I'm saying. It made normal Pac-Man so fun. It was loud. It was frenetic. Like the graphics were like popping and bopping, and like you could eat like long strings of like 50 ghosts, and then you have like 50 Pac-Men going on top while all like the techno music was bumping, and like the walls were like throbbing and sparkles and splashes, and it was wild and it was intense. Pac-Man is fun. I love regular Pac-Man, but this was like the cherry on top, and then you turned it up to 11. You put sprinkles on it. You did everything. I couldn't get enough of both of those games. I absolutely loved them. And then, man, I can't wait for Championship Edition 3. When's that coming out? Never. Oh, they did like Pac-Man 99 recently, which is pretty cool, but that's not Championship Edition. I need a new Championship Edition on an HD console on this 1440p 144 hertz display with my beautiful headphones. Just blow out my ears and blow out my eyes and blow out my brain because it's Pac-Man.
That is a good one. And I'll give you another real good one. Sega Genesis Vector Man. When that game came out, day one, I was begging for it. This weird green ball dude was full of attitude, changing and shifting and all sorts of different things to achieve his goals in these levels. We went out, we bought it. I fell in love immediately. Played the hell out of this game, played the hell out of the second one, fell off from there. Black hole, never returned. And all these years later, I go, you know, they could do that again. I mean, we're seeing this revival of all these 2D side-scrolling adventures looking so gorgeous, looking so great. They could do a Vector Man, but do it in an anime, you know, old school style. I'd say drop the 3D, you know, what they were going for when they did Vector Man, that 3D ball kind of looking thing. And just go with an anime style Vector Man. Keep it full of that attitude. Give them all sorts of spunk and, what do they call it? Spunk and spit, spunk and fire. I don't know what the kids say these days. Give them all of that. Not what I got, because I don't got that. I'm a lame old man now. But if I could play Vector Man doing it, I would love it. The boss fights are always bombastic. Some of the levels would get absolutely tricky because you'd have to do multiple forms to achieve, you know, getting through the next little area. And it was just, what a great title that game was. And I just wish it had stayed around. But unfortunately, Sega disappeared. And I'm sure the developer who did Vector Man probably disappeared. I don't even remember at this point. I'd have to go look. I want to say, was it Acclaim? I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. Or was it Sega themselves? I can't remember. It's too far gone. But I wish they'd come back somehow, some way.
I feel like it had to be Sega because all the Sega Classics and Genesis Collection games that came out, Vector Man was always there. So it's got to be true. First party. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, I remember him playing on the Sega thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's one of them. I'll look it up while you're talking here.
So for me, another one that really strikes hard and really strikes home, it's weird because I feel like there's almost been spin-offs of this type of game. And this isn't an old game series, but it's the Zero Escape series from Spike Chunsoft. It has 3 entries, 999, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, Virtue's Last Reward, and it's got Zero Time Dilemma. And the last one only came out 8 years ago, so it's not like it's long gone and dead, but it's been 8 years, and we don't have a new Zero Escape game. And these are the games where you're in almost like a death game situation, almost Danganronpa style, but it's not so adversarial. Like, you're in a very serious, very dangerous situation with a bunch of other characters. Nobody knows why they're there. They're trying to figure out all these puzzles to open doors, to get through things, to find out stuff. And it has so many endings. The first game has, I think, like 6 specific endings. But Virtue's Last Reward, it blows open. So you have so many endings that are like false endings, but the information you get from the false ending over here, you can now apply to this route that was previously blocked in this other playthrough when you took this other route. You can take that information here, you can move it there, you can this, and all the different ways you play. You have to get the whole spider web of information to finally get to that true ending. And the gameplay is fairly simple, like you're point and clicking around rooms and then solving really cool puzzles. But the mysteries and like the what the F is going on here type of stuff, these are games that I played like staying up until 4:30 in the morning because I had to know what was going on, only to get another weird ending and go, my whole previous preconception of this is completely blown out of the water, and I have to get up at 7 in the morning to go to work. I only have 3 hours of sleep, but oh Jesus, I can't wait to come back and do it again the very next night. Like, these games are nuts. These games are crazy. I will say I haven't beaten the third one because I had a weird experience playing it and I fell off, and then I read a spoiler that I can't forget. I literally cannot forget it. So anytime I think about playing it, I go, oh yeah, but it's this. I'm like, ah. But those games are amazing. They're an experience unlike anything else, unless you've played something like Danganronpa-ish. But they're so cool. They're so puzzle-oriented. You're doing so many different types of puzzles. And then the overarching story and the what the F is going on. I think I know what's going on. Oh, what is that now? I have no idea. That's got to come back in some way. Whatever the developers are working on, if it's something else, if it's that school defense game or whatever, once you're done with that, come and make another entry in that Zero Escape series, because it's just a chef's kiss for me.
Man, that sounds like a damn good time, Matt. And to bring it back, Blue Sky Software is the ones who developed Vector Man, but it was Sega who published them, hence why Sega's probably got the rights now, because I'm pretty sure Blue Sky is probably long gone.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the reason why I said Acclaim, Matt, was because I was thinking of my other one, which is the Turok series. Acclaim is the ones who did the Turok series. Later, Propaganda Games did one. And it gets a little weird because Propaganda Games did one in 2008 for the PlayStation 3, and it was actually pretty good. I enjoyed it. I didn't have any problems with it, but it must have just hit at the wrong time or whatever, because they were going to actually make a true sequel to Turok. It was going to be called Turok 2, but it was actually going to be Turok 6, which, Turok 5 was like the last one they actually did back in the day. It never happened. So 2008 is the real end, except for there was some kind of remake of one of the older ones that came out in 2023, but I don't count that because I'm talking about an actual official real Turok, not just a rehash, a spruce up of an old title. So Turok's been gone since 2008, but really it's been gone a lot longer because I count Acclaim as the official card holders in it, but they're gone too. So this game was the very first game I ever got for the Nintendo 64. My dad was sad because I brought it home. I had no money to afford any games. I bought the system with my own cash. I've told the story before. He went and got me Turok. So even if it was bad, I fell in love with it, which it wasn't bad. It was a great game. A lot of people loved it at the time. Played all the other ones, did multiplayer all the time with that. Could never forget, Matt. Could never forget the old brain grabber. That brain grabber gun in Turok, I don't remember, it was 3, I think, when they did the multiplayer in that, and you're just zapping people's brains, grabbing onto them and sucking them out. The laughs we had with that game, just doing that. I don't care if the actual main game wasn't fun. That made up for it. That was like our alternate when we weren't doing GoldenEye. We would do that just for the funs of it. So a lot of great memories with this series, and I really feel like it has something to it. It could come back. You're a dinosaur hunter. There's a ton of comics and whatnot to pull from that this series is based off of. We've had previous listeners from way back in the day. Good old Sean. He used to read all the Turok stuff. He was a big guy on that. There's a lot to pull from. You could do something with this. Plus, who doesn't love dinosaurs? I don't think the love for dinosaurs ever goes away. So you can make that good again. You can make that great again, as some would say. It was too easy. It's right there. But I'm on a serious note. I would say this. The only thing I would request if they ever do it is get back to the roots with the Turok 1. Because what made Turok 1 special, to me anyway, was there wasn't all this bombastic music going on and themes. It was just, and the dinosaurs stomping around. And it was just nature. You were out in this world looking around, trying to figure out what the hell to do while dinosaurs are coming and trying to kill you and eat you. And that was that. I loved that simplicity. It felt cool. It felt real. It made you feel like you were a dinosaur hunter. Later on, when all of a sudden it's like, I'm like, am I playing Metal Gear? It got a little weird. I still enjoyed it, but it just wasn't what I wanted out of Turok. I wanted to go back to simpler times, not where bad guys are harnessing dinosaurs as riding monsters and doing all sorts of weird stuff. Let's pull away from that. So there you go. The Turok Dinosaur Hunter series, please come back to us. We need some more first-person action, and we need it now.
Now I'm going to take a spin and go away from Pac-Man's an arcade game. Zero Escape is weird story mystery type games. I'm going to go completely off left field and say, for some reason this series popped into my head, and I don't know why, but I did enjoy it. I loved the peripheral that came with it, and I just loved playing it because I love rhythm games. I love music games. So something that popped into my head was bring back the goddamn Donkey Konga series and give us a weird, wacky peripheral. Make it like 4 bongos instead, so you got to like really go to town on it. Because I love playing rhythm games. I play like the Taiko no Tatsujin games on Switch sometimes, and it's fun to shake your Joy-Con like you're hitting a drum. But if you don't have the drum controller, which is like $100, it's not the same. And the last time it was the same was when you were playing Donkey Konga and you were slapping those gosh darn bongos, and then for the claps, I would always like hit the side of the bongo, so you were like, and it was just fun. And a lot of it was, kind of public domain type of music. There was a lot of classical stuff, but you were moving and you were grooving to this bongo beat. I don't know, it felt silly at the time, and I mean, it is a silly peripheral to plug in this big hunk of plastic, but it worked really well, and the music was fun, and it was a blast to play. I loved playing. I got into, with certain songs, I'd be like, all right, I missed 3 notes right at the beginning. I got to redo it. Oh, I missed the 2 at the end now. Okay. Got to focus on that part. Remember, it's left, right, clap. Left, clap, right. That kind of thing. And I did it. And for those few songs, I got them perfect. And it felt great because it feels good to do a rhythm game with something. Playing theater rhythm on my DualSense, it's fun. I love it. It's great. But when you're like doing a motion that's appropriate to the thing you're doing onto a peripheral, it just feels right. Like, I'm sure Dance Dance Revolution people, yeah, you can play it with a D-pad, but wouldn't you rather be on a dance mat? Wouldn't you rather be, instead of pushing buttons, slapping on some bongos, like a weird, you could even like strap it on and have like 4 bongo set and just,
Well, you gotta do it right, yeah.
Yeah, some kind of like donkey drums, I don't even know. But some kind of Nintendo-based rhythm game with a peripheral. Give me some Donkey Konga, or give me some Donkey something. Give me some Toad Kettle drums, I don't know. But that's one that just popped into my head, because I think there were 3 games, and then the 2 other action games that use the peripheral. But man, I could go for some Donkey Konga right now with some nice headphones and a big bright screen, and just sitting in my nice gaming chair. It'd be great.
That would be great. And my last one's a shorty, just because it kind of counts, doesn't count. I don't know. You can be the judge, Noble. All right, but it counts for me. It's the Dead Space series. I was so close. I almost had it. They did this remake, over the moons, played the hell out of it, loved every minute of it, went into the next game plus and doing that too, had a great time with it. And I went, this is it. People are going to love this. It's going to revive the series. They're going to redo 2. Then they're going to make an actual brand new one. And the series is going to come out, and it's going to be, I can't wait. I want to finish the story. What happened? And then it just bombed. It bombed. They shut down the project of 2. And they said, we're not doing Dead Space. We're moving on. And that was it. And so I came this close to getting my series back for me. And technically you could say it's back because they completely remade 2, but that's not what I want. You know what I'm talking about. I want something new. I want Isaac's continuation. The story moves on. What happens with the pillars, the markers? How's it all end up? Do we end up killing ourselves off because we're stupid and can't stop playing with these things we shouldn't be playing with? I will never, ever know. And that makes me sad. Because when a series does this and falls like that, now you really know we're screwed. they're not going to look and revisit this thing for at least another 10, 15 years. I'm going to be almost dead. So it's it's a little sad. But there it is. Dead Space almost made it back. It almost made it.
For my last one, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'll give you 2, though, because one that I'll mention, I only played the first game. I never played the second game. The second one, I put way more time into the second game than the first game. And so I'll start off with The Darkness. I would love that to come back because that first game, it was kind of like the movie The Crow. You work for the mob, you're a guy, you got a girlfriend, you got a decent life. The mob guys turn on you, they kill your girlfriend. You are dead, but this demon comes inside you. And this is that game with like the demon arms. And you're first person shooting, getting all kinds of new demon abilities, getting a big old revenge tour going. Everything about it on the 360 was so great and was so moody and dark, but not like in a ridiculous way, because you could still spend time with other characters, and it was bloody and it was brutal because you would eat the hearts of your enemies and the demons would kind of fight over the hearts and stuff. But it wasn't over the top and like gross. It was just moody and very cool. And I know The Darkness 2 came out, and I never played that one, but it got like more cartoony and like way darker, I think, like more brutal. Never played that one, but I would love that series to come back. Remake at least the first one, but I would love a new story in that same style as the first and not go so far into like the way of the second. Well, the other one I'll give you is the Magna Carta series. Turn-based RPGs from Korean developers. The art style is great. And the first one, it's like totally unique art style. But the battle system is cool because it is turn-based and you do stuff, but then you have certain button combos after this person does an ability, and then you can kind of chain up with the next one and kind of tag him in by doing this button combo. And I've said it before, I've told the story a million times. I've played through 90% of Magna Carta 2 10 times. But it's just so much fun to fight battles in that game. Right now, if you ask me, I don't remember the story, but I remember having a great time with both. On the PS2, the first one, because it was so unique. It looked unique, it played unique, it was everything you could want. The second one, I love the story and characters more. The art was a little more generic, but that battle system was still a ton of fun. So bring back that whole series, bring back that Korean developer. I don't even know if they exist anymore, probably not. But hey, when's the last time you saw a turn-based RPG from a Korean developer, Eric? We've been seeing action games, we've been seeing a Souls-like game. How about a turn-based RPG, something cool like that?
That would be cool. And you know what? I could go on forever because as I sit here, there's a million more that come to mind. Castlevania series by Konami, especially the 3D ones. I know nobody likes those around N64, but I think they could do it right. Grandia series. Oh my God, let's get Grandia back in the game. We could go forever, but you know what? Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this someday. I don't know.
How about the Front Mission series? How about that actually come back with like a new one? Oh, brother.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of games out there, Noble, that we could do and bring back from the dead, and they would deserve it 100%. But alas, we would go on forever reminiscing of these things, and it would only bring me sadness because, maybe they'll never come back. Some of them won't. That's just the nature of the beast.
But I'm going to continue with the Noble gas up here, because before we get to how you can give us your picks for franchises you'd love to come back, I love to give Noble props because he's one of the only people who got the previous trivia question from Uncle Matt's Trivia Corner, which was, which developer released Frogger in 1981? It was Konami. Surprise to everyone except for Noble, apparently. Now the question for this week. What is the name of the South Park role-playing game that was released in 2014?
Oh, man, is that the South Park?
You got it! That's
Woo,
it! Oh,
yeah.
points for Eric. Here
Look
we
at
go.
that. I did it.
So Eric got that one. If you know the answer to that trivia question, or if you got anything else you want to see come back from the dead video game franchises, or if you just want to send us any kind of feedback, any questions, comments, concerns, if you just want to say hi, do that via the email, thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine @ThirdShiftME. Find us on Facebook on Third Shift. Hit up the Discord, where you can drop stuff literally in our Mailbag channel. Hit up my Twitch streams. If I ever stream again after completing the best game ever made, but I might actually Twitch stream some Earth Defense Force just to have a laugh, just to have a riot. Hit up the Patreon. Hit up my house. Hit up the movie theater. You know what? When you see me at the movie theater watching Deadpool, come on up and be like, "Hey, brother, I got an answer for your quick question. Also, how do I get in that Discord, brother?" And I'll walk you through and I'll show you. I'll pull out your phone. We can download it. It'd be a great time.
That would be a great time. And speaking of which, Matt, you don't have to be done with Persona 3, right? There's a DLC with a whole new episode and everything.
I was meaning to look it up, but I'll just ask you. Is that sometime in August or is it like
Yes.
later in the year?
It's right around the corner. So you're going to get another taste right around the corner. So don't fret. Don't be sad. You'll get more time in there, more streaming action. You're going to have a blast. And of course, we had a blast today. And if you want to have even more of a blast, you can give your money to us over on Patreon. Because you know what? When you give money to people, you feel good inside. Let me tell you. Try it out. Go over to Patreon. It's a little tip jar. Just throw a few bucks in. And I promise the spirits, they'll rise up. Next thing you know, you're going to be giving us floods of money. And you're going to be sending us on all sorts of adventures. Promise.
And I know we don't say it often, so I will reiterate it here. If you just want to donate $1 for a tip, you do get access to our blooper reels that we've done over the years. I haven't posted one up in a while, but I do have the data for one, so I just need to edit it down. $3 gets you the what you're playing, so more in-depth and spoilery conversations about the games we've been playing over the month. $5 gets you Shifter Monthly Topic and everything below it, just like everything else, which is a random topic we get to talk about. Right now, we're in the middle of the top 100 video games of all time bracketology. We're March Madnessing it down here in July and continuing onward from there. So you do get some fun stuff. You get some unique stuff there. And if you can't do any of that, at least for God's sakes, for the love of all that's holy, listen to the very next episode, which will be dropping on or around the 1st of August on iTunes, and Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And as I always say, hey, if you like what we're doing, you'd like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, a review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out. And we really do appreciate it.
Just like we appreciate the 5-star reviews, folks. Holy moly, I'll tell you what. I don't know what I got. I'm gonna brew something up. I'm gonna parachute into people's houses. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do something. I promise. I'm getting pretty weird with this. All right, I'm gonna do something real weird. You're not gonna like it. So I don't know. Maybe a 5-star review. Stave that off a little bit longer. But I'm thinking about doing something weird to somebody, and this is going to be all your fault. Not my fault, because you're forcing me to do this. All right? Just saying.
And with that, and until Eric comes down your chimney like an old Santa Claus, but he won't be bringing you presents, there's nothing else to say but...
Don't forget to save. It won't be a present. It's be a present for me, baby.
Shut up and sit down.